Hello, this is Brian, and I'm going to talk about this app that I built in preparation for South by Southwest called FestWiz. Um, so, typically for South by Southwest, I get a wristband and go to a lot of shows. And for years now, I've been making these cumbersome spreadsheets for myself and sharing them with people just in case they're useful for other folks. And it's got like a list of every band and where they're playing and what I thought of them in my case, and it's helpful for me in trying to figure out how to plan my festival. So I was working on figuring out ways to make this process a little faster because it tends to take me a lot of time. And the first step of the process is often listening to all these bands. So I started out kind of building an app that I could use to rate music. This just like gave me the links that artists had for how to listen to their music and a way for me to track which ones I was excited about. In the past, I just had like a giant list of bands and which ones I liked and which ones I didn't, and it was very inefficient. And this felt a lot better. So the initial phase of FestWiz is this page that allows you to go in and select how you feel about a band and a rating of 1 to 4, and you can mean whatever you want with these. I tend to make the bands I'm most focused on trying to see a number 4, and the bands I thought sounded good, but like I will, if I see them, that'd be cool. If not, I'm not gonna be too upset. Or 3, and the bands I was like, oh, these bands sounded pretty good, but I'm not sure I'm gonna like seek them out. A 2, and then whatever I seemed like stuff I probably wouldn't like, I gave it a 1. This mode allows you to once you've rated a bunch of stuff, it gives you an opportunity to sort via your own ratings. So you can at the moment I have it here sorted by rating. So I have to start scrolling down before I get to the artist I've rated 3. You can set it up in lots of different ways. These are all the artists I have not yet rated at all. There's like 1,400 bands in the list right now, and there'll probably be more by the time the festival starts. So it's pretty impossible to listen to all of them. But this is a way to kind of keep track of the ones you have rated. And then the idea here is that in order to find the bands you're most likely to be interested in, I built these tiers that would use the genres that were listed on the South by Southwest website and other places to kind of help you figure out, like, okay, well, if you like punk, then you can rate punk highly, and you can make sure you see a lot of it. If you like electronic music, you can rate it highly and see a lot of it. If you hate R&B, you can rate it low or whatever. In general, I just kind of rated a few things at the top and then everything else a low. Subgenre tiers are a little more specific. You can just not rate things. Everything you rate shows up higher than the things that you didn't rate in these tiers. But basically, it's just a way to kind of help you organize what you're doing. So like if you want to say, oh, just show me everything that's surf, you could do that. And the way you would do that is go in here, and then you would select one of the subgenres. So like this is all the dream pop artists that we have recorded as playing. You can see some of them are blue. They're official. They're on the official South by website. And then some of them are brown. These are bands that are they're playing shows somewhere around Austin during South by Southwest, but they're not officially listed on the website. And all of the showcases they're playing are unofficial shows as whatever. That's the case. You can also search by band name. So let me turn off the subgenre filter that I added, and I'm just going to search for this band from Atlanta I want to use as an example. This is the band CDSM. I saw them last year, but they're back again this year, and more so than any band I saw, they are just have a relentless schedule this week, and I feel like they're a great live band and everybody should check them out. And also they're playing something like 14 times, which is quite unusual. Some bands are only performing once. Most bands are performing like 2 or 3 times. But this is an exception to that rule, obviously. You could listen to this band on all these different places and, decide whether you like them. And if you did, you'd give them a rating. I also have a built-in system that gives people sort of my recommendations in case they don't want to go in and do ratings. You can turn that on and off. Let me just hide this bit here. So this is a way to turn off the FestWiz picks, which is like the stuff that I have rated highly, just kind of auto-populating in case you haven't rated anything yet. It gives you the option to have some advice on what to see. You can always show and hide here, and it should remember your choice throughout the app. So once you've picked a band and you've decided like, okay, I want to try to see this band somewhere, you can go into schedule mode. Now here in schedule mode, we can also search for things. So you can search for a band. In this case, CDSM is playing 3 times in the same day. You can also search for a venue. So Hotel Vegas is in here. I think Tweeties isn't doing any shows this day, but yeah, Mohawk is here. So you can just see like if you're like, who's playing at Mohawk on Thursday, or who's playing at 29th Street Ballroom on Friday. You can just quickly get that information. And you should be able to see all kinds of details. So this is true of the filter in both modes, but you can search for country of origin. So if you're like, where are all the Australian bands playing on Friday, you can just get where specifically Australian bands are performing across town. You can do Scottish bands. I don't think that they have broken out Scottish bands and British bands, but here are all the bands from London, for example. Do they have Glasgow? I don't know. I'm not sure if there are any Scottish bands playing this year. No, I'm pretty sure there are, but I don't know this year's Scottish bands. So you can't just type in like a demonym. You have to type in like where the band is from. But like here's all the Austin bands and where they're playing. So if that's the thing that you're looking for, you can search for all the Los Angeles bands. You can do it all sorts of things. But anyway, let's focus on the CDSM. So going back here, you can see one of the things that this mode does, which I really like, is it puts the things at the top of your recommendations that you're most interested in. So I rated a CDSM a 4, even though I've seen them before, as in like a high priority. So every show that they're on at a venue, it's going to give me all of that venue's info at the top. And as we get through all of the bands I've rated 4, it'll start to show me bands I've rated 3 and 2 and 1. And eventually we'll get into the shows where like I haven't actually listened to any of these bands. They might be great, but I don't know. But this allows me to focus on whatever I'm most interested in at any given time. So the idea here is that you're going to use this mode to kind of plan out your festival. Like let's say there's a band that you want to see. Let's say I want to see Holy Wave. Holy Wave is only playing 2 shows in the festival. They're playing this one that we're looking at here on Thursday, and they're also playing at Radio East on Friday. We don't have a set time for their Thursday show, but on Friday they're playing at 2 p.m. So if I click on that, it'll take me over to here to Friday, and it'll show me that they're playing at this free showcase at Radio East. And we actually don't have a set time for them here either. They're playing with another band I like and several other bands I thought were good and some other bands I thought were decent. So this is like a way for me to be like, okay, that's when I could see Holy Wave if I was trying to figure out a time to see them. And then if you want to see the rest of Friday, you just click X, and then it goes back to unfiltered, and you can look at everything all at once. See, the idea here is that you can, figure out what your priorities are and figure out when you're going to see them. If you have the whole week, you could do it this way. If you have just one day, you can also use this mode to take a look at the whole day. So another way to kind of plan things out once you've got a handle on when you want to see people, this is your planning mode. And your planning mode is going to show you everyone who you're interested in seeing at the top of your list and where they are in the current lineup. So if I just wanted to try to see bands I really loved all day long, 1 p.m. there's a band I like playing at Valhalla. 2 p.m. there's another band I like playing at the Downright Austin. 3 p.m. CDSM is playing at Tweeties. Around 5, I could see that same band that was playing at Valhalla Adult DVD, or the same band that was playing at Radio is now, or this is not Radio, this is the Downright Austin Backyard. Radio East is a different venue. Anyway, point being, you could use this to figure out who you want to see, and you can insert both your like highest rating and your next highest rating if you want. You can also insert the picks that I made. I'm not going to see any of them because I've rated all of them at this point in time. But if you are signing up with the app for the first time, you'll see FestWiz picks, which are it's basically this list here of bands I thought it seemed worthy of checking out. Just my positive recommendations essentially. So this is how you could figure out like whether you want to see bands, who you want to see in the course of the day, and if you've seen a band, you can like click a little checkbox here showing that you caught them in that show. Lastly, in terms of the different modes, well, okay. Also, you can go back and forth to different days of the week here as well. So you can plan out each day ahead of time, or you can plan it out like the day of. You can do it however you want. Lastly, we have this now mode, and the now mode will use your kind of built-in clock on your computer or your phone, and the now mode will show you what time it is now and who's playing in the next, who's performing right now somewhere in Austin that you want to see, and you can filter this guy by similarly like bands that you've rated 3 or higher, bands that you've rated at all, or you can just show everybody, and it gets pretty all-consuming for everybody. But this is everybody who's performing anywhere in Austin right now on, if this were Thursday, and I can go ahead in time by an hour. If I want to see what's coming up later, if I want to get like some food and then come back, and I can change days if I really want, just to kind of get a feel. But this mode's probably going to mostly be useful when you're already out there in the world. You're trying to figure out which show to go to next and who you're interested in is performing, and where they're performing. So yeah, that'll help you kind of pick out where to go and where your priorities should be. But yeah, there's also there's ways to track what shows are badge only. So these are all of the shows that are unofficial. So these are paid, cover, and free shows. Sometimes it's hard to tell them apart in the flyers. I did my best keeping track of these. But these are the badge only shows. If you just want to focus on those, if you want everything, it comes in by default. And you can add your own shows as well. So it's a pretty flexible system. I'm pulling in, all of the official information, plus I'm recording my own information. I've got several hundred lines of information on all the unofficial shows. I basically just picking out flyers and then recording the information on who's playing where and when, and so on and so on and so on. So that information is all built into FestWiz in here. And this is a way that you can keep track of where you're going and what you're doing. Lastly, let's go back here to rate mode. So you can actually synchronize these ratings that you're giving. That your ratings are stored in your browser's storage. So you don't have to do anything. It doesn't take up a lot of space on your computer. You don't have to log into an account. You just go into your browser, rate some stuff, and your browser will remember it every time you open it. If you want to share those ratings with a friend, or if you want to share them with your phone so that you can have the same ratings on your phone that you do on your computer, and you can go out into the world and be like, who's playing here that I have rated highly, there's a share function to copy your ratings, and there's an export function to export these as well. The share will give you a URL, and then once you have that, you can paste that into a browser, and that will basically you can text that to a friend, or you can put that in a note for yourself and then open it in a browser on a different device, and then that device will then have your ratings stored. And they don't synchronize with one another, so you'll have to share them back and forth if you want to make updates to them. So my recommendation is do all of your rating probably on a computer, and then on your phone out in the world, use the ratings you built on your computer to kind of track what's going on. Anyway, that's FestWiz, and that's how to use it. Hope that this is as useful for some other folks as it has been for me. I feel like this is the most organized I've ever been for South by Southwest. So anyway, thanks for taking the time to watch this.